So lots of drama here as we head to the fourth period. Edmonton, Calgary, 4-4, and you know what the topic of conversation is, the disallowed goal. I'm from Red Deer. May I invoke Switzerland?
No. You're giving your opinion.
Don't do it. Go ahead, Elliot. You've spoken to the league.
Look, they said quite simply they felt it was a distinct kicking motion. Therefore, Rule 49-2, it doesn't count. I thought it was a good goal. I think he's crashing into the goalie and he's getting kind of pushed in by the defenseman. And sometimes when the defenseman pushes you in, that gives you more latitude to do things. I think it's a good goal, but I think, Jen, I'm in the minority on this panel.
Well, if he's going in, I'm not sure that your inside skate, if you're being pushed over, that your inside skate's going to stay on that angle to make sure it connects with the puck. You know, for me, the line of where he was going was more so towards the far post, but then he makes sure, I mean, maybe he's trying to be subtle with it, but it does look as though, certainly from some of those angles, that he makes an effort to make sure there's contact, right, with that puck. I mean, that angle right there. No, that doesn't convince you by any means, Elliot?
No, I'm starting to lean towards the spin of him interlocking with the pad.
Like he's trying to control himself and not go into the net, to me.
He is trying to... Go ahead, Kevin.
No, let's show the tweet. I just want to hear everyone's argument. And before, this is what Brendan Morrison said. Cannot kick a puck with your skate blade on the ice while stopping. Virtually impossible, especially at that speed. Terrible call, NHL 100% disagree. Okay, so before I state my opinion, I don't care who wins this game. I'm not cheering for either team. I think it's a great series, so take that out of the equation. I think this is a kick. I think it was the right call to disallow the goal. And while it looks like he's directing the puck in the net, it's a little bit gray. Like, what is a kick?
Right.
Well, a kick, everyone thinks a kick is when you kick the puck. What he's doing right here is he's trying to kick the puck in the net and hide it. He's trying to hide like he's falling backwards. And I agree with Jen, his one leg extends. If you're falling because you're getting taken to the goalie, your skates are falling together. One leg is not extending and trying to kick. So for me, it's not like your typical kick, but he's on the flats. He's on his flat edge, and he's gliding on his flats, trying to kick the puck into the net.
Brian, can we see the low angle again? The low angle from either inside or behind the net camera inside? Because after looking at that, I'm even more convinced. Look, Cece's going into his lower legs.
Look at the extend, though, Elliot.
But
why is his one leg extended?
Because the other leg went into the pad.
I'm thinking about the mens rea. I'm thinking about the guilty mind right now.
But look, like his leg goes into the pad.
Stop it. Hold it. Stop the video. Stop the video. Good. Thank you, Brian. So, Kevin, the right leg is clearly hooked up with Smith.
Yes.
Right? So the left leg now, you can see he's pulling his left leg back towards the puck. So I agree with you there. The question is, was he just trying to plant to avoid falling?
And Cece's driving into his lower legs because he's falling too.
When one leg gets tangled with the goalie, Elliot, naturally your other leg wants to stay close to you so you don't rip your groin apart. It doesn't want to extend and do the splits.
But Cece's pushing into him.
So he's falling.
So he's
falling.
I don't think he wants to do the splits. He's extending that one. Well, we all have our opinions. That's what I think.
And falling's really not a matter of importance with respect to him being pushed, because he's got his eye directly on that puck, and he knows what his left leg is capable of doing, as you said.
He did a great job of hiding his intent because we're all on different sides. But I think his intent was to kick it in and hide it, like he was falling like that. He fooled you. Maybe he fooled me.
But I don't know. Good point of where his
obviously
eyesight
didn't fool you because you're on the right side of the argument.
If I'm wrong, then he fooled me.
Well,
that's what I think he did.
Right? He was looking at the puck for most of the time. It's not as though he was faced the other way and it was an accidental contact.
What do you think,
There
Ron?
was the eye contact
you would definitely.
the play.
Sorry, Jennifer.
Ron.
You would want to have your skate get to that puck. You would want that. Now, what is a distinct kicking motion is where I start to ask the question.
Yes.
You know, is that a distinct kicking motion, or is that just a guy have it go off his stick once he plants to save himself?
He's looking down.
Is
right?
gliding on your flats? Is gliding on your flats and hitting the puck a kick? I don't know.
I do agree.
I think it is.
He extends that leg. He extends that foot. Okay, so you're definitely should count.
It's just that, look, like if that was goaltender interference, that goal would have counted, right? Because he's being pushed into Smith.
Right.
So if in theory the rule is that you can be excused from goaltender interference if you're being pushed into the goalie. I see a guy who's got one leg tripping on the goalie and the other leg, he's got Cece coming into him. He's a great athlete. Maybe he can kick it like that, but I see a person who's being pushed into the goal and just trying to avoid crashing into the net.
It's a coincidence that his skate hits the pucks because he's falling into the goalie, and just a coincidence. What do you think his intent was?
I think his intent is to shield the puck Maybe direct it. I just think he's being pushed.
But there's still a level of...
There's people falling into him, and he's falling forward.
But a lot of guys, when they're pushed even to the boards, you can still maneuver, move your body to protect yourself. So I think there's a level of awareness for him, even though he's pushed. He's still watching this puck to know where he wants to make contact.
And thinking, is it going to be a distinct kicking motion, or am I off the hook because I'm just gliding
so
through
close.
it? Right. Let's look at Markstrom's save, because I think it's kind of analogous. The way Markstrom adjusts midstream to that loose puck that almost trickles in on him, this kind of reminds me of physically what Coleman did. Watch.
Kick.
Yes. He sees the puck.
No goal.
He deliberately puts a kicking motion into effect, and that one's a little more obvious. It's a kicking motion, but it is amazing what you can do. So here's Coleman, eyes on the puck. I'm going to get my skate, which he thinks is going to be allowed.
Can I qualify Brendan Morrison's tweet? He was a terrible soccer player pregame, so what he thinks is possible with the foot, there's so much more possibilities. I think Coleman did it on purpose and tried to hide it.
Brendan Morrison's part of the most amazing playoff goal I ever saw, when Iginla lost his stick and he tied the game in the 7th game back in whatever the year was, and eventually Marty Jala scores in overtime.
You know what's funny, Ron? Like
05?
he was so fired up when we talked to him just before we went on air, and I bet you there's so many people in Alberta right now, so many people in the hockey world that feel passionately one way or another about this call.
I agree.
Yes.
I know as a referee, I'll tell you the last thing, as a referee, I would want Calgary to win. I would feel like I made the right call, but I feel like somehow it's unjust, or unjust.